Human, are you awake? Wake up, my love, it's time. Yes, it is time for the ritual indeed. I trust the earpieces are comfortable. If they hurt at all, you should tell me immediately. Yes, I'm still awake this late at night. Partially because we have to get ready for the ritual, partially because I couldn't sleep. Well, darling, the reason I couldn't sleep is because I was thinking about the war that's being forced upon me by the human king. Of course, he could be trying to make his way to the heart of the forest, trying to get the wood here to build more settlements. But why would he? I mean, there's bountiful wood in his own kingdom. He has no reason to fell the trees my ancestors planted. Well, if he's not trying to get our wood, we only have two other resources he might want. The steel we trade with the demons, or the elves themselves. If he wants demonic steel, he could have sent a messenger asking to trade it with us. But if he's after the elves themselves, that leaves us with a much bigger problem. Wouldn't accept a situation where the elves are extinct, nor one where we get enslaved. So I have to do whatever I need to in order to stop him. No cost too great. Well, that's where you come in, but that's a discussion for later. For now, you need to get out of bed. I know it's quite comfortable, but you'll have to get out in order to be truly bound to me. There you go. Good job, darling. Now follow me, and we'll go to the terrace above the palace, where we can see the moon. The ritual is quite a simple ordeal, but its importance is incredible. It's been performed between humans and elves multiple times, mostly when an elf intends to marry a human. It involves drawing each other's blood, using a magical knife crafted by the cooperation of my grandmother and the Demon Queen herself. While it has the power to complete the ritual of binding to any human, to any monster, it's only ever been used by the elves. Once a cut is made on both wrists, the two partaking in the ritual hold each other's arm, bringing the wounds into contact and mixing the blood into their bloodstreams. Under the light of the moon, the monster then casts a spell, which heals both of them, and creates a thin layer of skin in between the wounds. Once this layer is formed, a kiss is shared, and a part of the essence of the human flows into the monster, and vice versa. From there on out, you need a new name. Why do you need a new name? Well, that's a peculiar question to answer. You see, human culture understands only partially how the body works. If I'm correct, you divide it into two parts, the physical body and the soul, correct? Well, we elves are much more advanced, and we have as far as I can tell, 7 separate elements of the self separated. Not 2, 7. The list is simple. Body and soul, of course. The body is a tool, and using that tool leads to scars. A body without scars is a body that hasn't truly seen life yet, and as such, barely deserves respect. You know the positive consequences that has for you already. The soul can control the body, and backwards. It's the consciousness, the self with a capital S. The soul captures thoughts and logical processes, but it's immaterial, can access other realms through dreaming. And then there's the shadow. Your shadow is a separate entity that is controlled by your body, but is also controlled by your name. Your shadow represents the impact you have on the world. Some elves have lighter shadows than others, and that is reflecting a life lived in pursuit of good. Fourth is the desires. It does what you think it does, distracting the soul from time to time, but also informing it of what the soul wants. After all, a soul is purely logical. Emotions mainly come from the desires. That, of course, means that all of my desires have focused themselves on you, my love. Then there's the magic. Your magic is an unseen reservoir of magical potential with which you can cast spells. Some species have more innate magic than others, like elves. It slowly recharges, never truly running out. The sixth is life force. It's much like magic, but it's a reservoir of life instead. Slowly waning like an hourglass. At the end of your life, the life force is drained completely. But that only happens if you die of old age. If you die of a weapon, that life force remains inside of you and can flow into everything around you. And last, but the thing you have asked me about, is your name. Your name represents all that you are and ever will be. It is the culmination of you with a capital Y. Your name cannot die until it is no longer remembered by anyone. If someone knows your name and takes it from you, it gives them power over you. But a name is not chosen by your parents, nor by you. No, your name is chosen for you by one of the gods. Some species let the sun name them. Others let the earth. Some choose thunder, some the sea, or even the souls of the dead. But we elves, we let the moon choose. It is the most sacred of our rituals to be named. And thus, it's only natural that you will be getting a name from the moon. My own name is spoken as Yandere, and it means the loving queen. Rata, captain of the guard, has the meaning of warrior who guards the eternal flower. And your name, we'll find out later. It's a beautiful thing. The ceremony of receiving your name from the moon. Why the moon? Well, that's because of the goddess who represents the moon. You might know it, but Artemis is the goddess of the hunt and the one who guards the forests. We, the elves, are all part of the huntresses. She helped grant us our gifts, separating us more distinctly from our Fey brothers and sisters. And she did that to grant us our purpose. We guard these forests, and we have done so since the beginning of our existence. Our dark elven relatives were made by the corruption of the Demon Queen seeping in, and they took root in the Underdark, where they have built a society separate of ours. A dark elf is different from an elf as a human is from a frog. That's why we call them drow, because the title of elf is reserved only for those who follow the guidance of Artemis and the moon. She is our patron goddess. She took part in creating us. My role, as queen, is to rule the elves in her absence. And should she ever return, I am just as subservient to her as any elf. We do have other gods, yes. The pantheon is the same as yours. Zeus, Hades, Poseidon, the Olympians, Titans for before that, and spirit gods for before the Titans. But there are a few differences, you see. The worship of Zeus has gone long out of fashion here. The god of lightning and thunder is dishonorable, going down to earth and forcing himself on women and men alike, leading to countless wars and murders, and intense suffering. In all fairness, it's quite a problem each time, so we feel he is unworthy of being worshipped at all. In all fairness, his brother Hades is much more deserving of the attention. Poseidon took 12 or more wives, but Hades has one wife, to whom he has stayed loyal. The last time a child was born of Hades was never. We respect that. He took his wife from the surface against her will, but made her see the truth of the matters. And then he let her choose if she wished to love him or not. That's much more honorable than the other 2 great gods. But I believe this is nothing you've never heard before. So, that's that. Oh, we're almost at the top of the trees. Do you feel ready? Good. Because I feel excited too. I can't wait for us to be bound together by fate, under the light of the moon, darling. Don't be afraid, darling. They don't have the power to stop us from joining. They're here to bear witness to the ceremony and nothing else. Come here. Let me give you one last hug before we begin. There. Better? Good. Now, all you have to do is stand there and say yes, and your name when I ask it of you. Ready? Welcome all to the ceremony of betrothal. In my hands I hold the Ishmat, the great dagger gifted to us by the Demon Queen to marry an elf to a human. I, Yandere, your queen and high priestess of the moon and grand sorceress of the ancestral woods, stand here with this human to perform the ceremony. We will conjoin, and my essence will flow into them until they are, by the magic in their spirit and the blood in their veins, an elf, like us all. First, we place the knife on your hand. It will hurt a little bit, but it will be all over soon, my dear human. And we do the same with my own hand. And then we put our hands together, and I speak the spell. And with this, you are elf and human alike, able to speak our language and your own. You can feel the layer of skin healing rapidly around our conjoined hands, can you not? That's the spell taking effect. Slowly but surely, you're gaining access to all that an elf is, in addition to what a human is. Your lifespan is expanding without limiting your adaptability. And most of all, your magical potential has become true. Your magical reserves are filling themselves as they siphon out of mine. But fret not. My magic will return to me very quickly. And now, with the binding spell complete, you'll be mine forever. Turn to face the moon and accept your new name as one of us, an elf. Only you can hear your true name, but you will also hear the name everyone else hears. Gaze upon the moon and see Artemis's glory. Let her gaze into you. You are the rotten child. You are the touch of death. Askeli Et is the name those around you know. Ask Eli Et, the eternal rotten flower. But your true name is Hadref Had. Death covers death. Now rise as one of my children, ask Eli Et. Rise and join your new brothers and sisters. But heed my warning, death covers death. Your time to go is soon. And when you do, your death might bring disaster to this world, or endless, everlasting beauty. Take the right choices. Do not let your curse be what you leave behind on this mortal realm. Artemis has spoken. The name of my consort will be Ask Eli Et, the eternal rotten flower. An elf in their own right, and bearing scars of the champion beyond the forest class. They are, by all measures, an honorable member of our society now, and as such can wander around as they wish. I'll kneel before the eternal rotten flower. Do not worry, my darling. You'll still be here forever, even though you're free to wander the city. You are mine, after all. But you'll have more freedom than before. See it as a reward for being good and a perk of our union. Do you feel the magic flowing through your veins? You should be able to cast some simple effects soon. If you practice a bit, all you'll need to do is have faith in yourself, and I'm sure you'll make progress very quickly. I know you will, because you're mine, my eternal rotten flower.